Ladies and gentlemen, please continue your meals as we begin our Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
In 2025, we celebrate 130 years of athletics. Who could have foreseen, from its humble beginnings of a club football game and then later a baseball game, April 27, 1895, Carson-Newman would be what it has become. Along the way, the Warblers, the Invincibles, the Fighting Parsons, the Appalachians of the South, and finally the Eagles would now sponsor 23 sports teams and produced a legacy of success that spanned 13 decades. Here, big games were won, lives were changed, traditions were formed, memories were made. Over the years, the teams at Carson-Newman have been known for their toughness and Christian spirit. Through the decades, teams and individuals have played at the highest level and have established national recognition for this little school on the banks of Mississippi. While facilities, coaches, and athletes have changed over the years, there are certain things that remain constant. This is a special place. The Eagles compete. The Eagles fight to the finish, and it gets foggy at Mossy Creek.
Now let us recognize a crucial element of our 130 years as we induct 5 new members into our Carson-Newman Athletics Hall of Fame. Please welcome our Master of Ceremonies, the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier.
How's everybody doing tonight? That wasn't loud enough. Come on, we are here to recognize athletic excellence. How's everybody doing tonight? You should be fired up. I've got several reasons to be fired up, and it's not just the Hall of Fame. I hope you'll bear with this old sportscaster's heart. 2 of our teams right now are in first place in the SAC standings. Beach volleyball has swept its opposition today. Winners 4-1 over Catawba and Erskine. Give it up for Kat Collins' crew. Secondarily, Tom Griffin's Carson-Newman baseball team hangs a 5 spot in the top of the first inning and is up 5-0. First place Eagles on top of the Coker Cobras. Give it up for those 2 clubs. Before we start inducting folks, one thing that we always do, we want to recognize our past and those that are here. Unfortunately, this past year, we did lose 3 of our all-time greats with the passings of 3 Hall of Famers, and those were wrestling coach Don Aaliyah, men's basketball coach Gene Mahaffey, and longtime AD David Barger. In their honor, if you would, I ask that you please join me in a brief moment of silence. Thank you. The tremendous thing about this Hall of Fame, as we do it year in, year out, is how many people come back. And for a second straight year, it's phenomenal to see more than 200 people in this building. For all of you in attendance, give yourselves a round of applause for supporting athletics here at Carson-Newman. We greatly appreciate it. It's also great to have people that are already in this Hall of Fame back. And we have 10 such individuals tonight. So as I call your name, please stand if you are able to be recognized and then remain standing. Inducted in the class of 2009, one of the best quarterbacks in Carson-Newman football history, Danny Sanders is in the building. Please stand. From the class of 2012, one of the most fearsome pass rushers, Mark Isom. Please stand. From the class of 2019, Mike Whitley, Mike Turner, Jim Deaton, and looking so sharp, Bill Mitchell. All 4 horsemen, please. From the class of 2020, Quez Rumpf and Whitney Hickam Cruz. From the class of 2021, one of the all-time great blockers in Carson-Newman history and probably the best pitmaster, Jabez Floyd. Everyone has breathed a sigh of relief that he's not going in this year because it means the ceremony might be under 2 hours. Alan Morgan from the class of 2023. And back from the class of 2024, Leonard Guyton, Carson-Newman's first All-American quarterback. So great to have all of those Hall of Famers in attendance. Thank you for coming back. We hope you continue to come back. Now, it is time to induct some new members. We've got 5 going in, and we will start with Aubrey Morris Morrison. Please come forward. A 3-time South Atlantic Conference champion, a 3-time NCAA championship meet qualifier, and a 3-time all-region selection, as well as the 2006 Southeast Region champ. Aubrey Morris Morrison is one of the most decorated cross-country athletes in school history. She made a splash as soon as she arrived on campus, earning SAC Freshman of the Year honors in 2005. Morrison would wrap up her career earning all-SAC first-team honors the final 3 years she was on the banks of Mossy Creek. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Aubrey Morris Morrison. All right. First cross-country runner in the Hall of Fame. What's that mean to you?
A lot. It's not really a sport that people, I guess unless you're a runner yourself, maybe you don't quite enjoy watching. The group disappears behind the trees for a while. You kind of wait around until they come back around. So it's, for someone not familiar with it, it's not always the most exciting to watch, and so therefore it's not always the most popular sport to bring attention to. So kind of bringing attention to the running in the school and bringing that to everyone is pretty cool.
Take me back to your recruitment, 2004, 2005, from Chattanooga to Jefferson City. Not an unusual path. There's plenty of folks that have done that historically. What brought you to Carson-Newman?
So I actually kind of initiated that, and then Coach Lee picked up real quick and just took me through the whole process, and you know, it turned out to be great. So my dad, who's here today, he teaches at a college up in Lookout Mountain, Georgia, and it's part of this whole coalition where, you know, as you're a member of that, you get a little break in tuition and everything. So I was kind of narrowing down my colleges based on that, and I didn't really want to stay in Chattanooga at that point, and so I was kind of looking at the colleges in other areas, and my attention came to Carson-Newman, and I looked at their running program. I was like, great, they have a running program. So I reached out to Coach Lee to look further into it, and he just immediately responded, very accommodating, came to watch me run. So all I had to express was a little bit of interest and ask a few questions, and then he took it from there, and we came up to visit, and yeah, it was a good experience. So
I would say it's a good experience when you show up on campus and start winning races pretty much immediately. Freshman of the Year, how did that set the table for what becomes a really storied career?
I think I was really settling into realizing that I was a decent runner. I actually played soccer in middle school and high school, so I kind of considered myself a soccer player. I was not nearly good enough to play in college, so I also ran track, though, for that same amount of time. And by the time I graduated in my senior year, I was realizing I was pretty good at the longer distances. And so being successful kind of right off the bat as a freshman kind of really gave me some encouragement, and I was like, okay, this could actually go somewhere. I made a good decision here not to chase after the soccer thing and stick with the no ball involved sports.
You say soccer, you know, clearly you get good at it. What drew you, clearly this might shock you guys, running miserable. Why would I do that? I know, shocking. What drew you to run? What is it about it that you like?
I think I always enjoyed it. I had my dad, who's here today, he actually was a big part of me starting to enjoy running. He would run with me in middle school and kind of just encourage me and push me and make it an enjoyable experience, and he never pressured me or anything like that, so I just grew to enjoy those runs that we would have together, and as I realized I was pretty decent at it, then it was enjoyable. Anything that you realize you're good at and start to succeed in is going to be kind of pique your interest at it, and it is enjoyable. It is quite painful at times, but I mean, it's just rewarding, and the people you meet when you're running. Runners are a very eclectic bunch, and you kind of never know who you're going to run into in different running clubs for different cities and everything. So I always just, the community was always very kind, and everybody's very uplifting. Maybe they just are high on endorphins all the time. I don't know, but it's always just a positive thing, and so that gave me a good feel for it. And then on top of finding how I was, you know, getting somewhere with it, kind of added a bit up. And
I want you to take me back to 2006. You're on the starting line at the regionals, warming up. Whit Lee's by your side, your coach at the time, and he asked how you're doing and how you were doing. Do you remember what you said to him?
I told him I probably scared him out of his mind. I was like, I'm not feeling it today. I don't know. I specifically remember that. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. I just did my warm-up, and I'm so tired already. And
The direct quote he gave me, and this would be terrifying if I was a cross-country coach, the direct quote was, I can't feel my legs. Which is, you're getting ready to run for probably the second top race of the year. Probably not what you want to hear out of your top
probably not
top
what I
runner.
should have said. I don't know. But clearly I wasn't watching out for Coach Lee's feelings at that time. But he didn't show his terror at that point. But yeah, found my legs after a minute. I think the pressure used to get to me a lot, and before a big thing, when certain things are expected, and then at that point in the season, honestly, you're pretty tired and kind of ready for a little break. So it was like, oh my gosh, I'm just about to run my heart out, and it's gonna hurt, and maybe I shouldn't be here. I don't know, but it's a big mind game.
Well, unable to feel your legs, you won that race. That's the thing. You couldn't feel your legs, and yet you had the sauce to get the job done and win a regional against hundreds of other runners. I think it's one of the most difficult things to do in sport is win at that stage. Where did it kick in for you?
You start the race, and your head gets into that mode, and you kind of start to pace yourself, and I think I brought myself out of that headspace of like freaking out under pressure and everything, and just got into my my mode of racing. And as the race went on, I started kind of picking off some people, and then I think I was in second, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I could actually like do this. And then I remember the last stretch of it, and at that point, you're very, very tired, and you're like, I can either really chase this person down and just want to die after this race, or I could just hang back and get second. I don't know. And I was young enough at that time to be like, nope, I'm doing this. And so I kind of surprised myself, because I do remember being not feeling it that that day.
At that time, Amber Hines of Wingate.
Yes, I remember her.
You guys were back and forth. She won the SAC title.
Yes.
Over you that year.
Yes.
Was there a little extra motivation to chase her down in the regionals?
There was. I think that was part of what I was so nervous about. And there's always those runners you keep running back into. And I think she had always beaten me up until that point. And so I just had to keep reminding myself, like, she's probably just as nervous. I kind of felt like the underdog, so that's always the better position to be in. So it ended up in my favor, so that was good.
As a freshman at Nationals, you finished the course in 24 minutes, 14 seconds. As a senior, nearly a minute faster, 23 minutes, 21 seconds. How did you develop the speed over the course of your 4 years?
I think I took a lot better care of myself my senior year. Freshman year, you're a freshman, and maybe don't quite take care of your nutrition the same. You don't sleep the same. I think by senior year, I had that was the best year that I remember having in terms of just the way I felt and the way I was racing. There was a big drop in my times. I think I also took care of some asthma and health issues and stuff like that. And so that, on top of just taking my health more seriously, that was a big contribution.
I think you buried the lead a little bit there. You did all this with asthma?
I don't really know, to be honest. I just remember having a really bad summer in terms of the air quality was bad. I don't know. But I took care of it this summer going into my senior year, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was a little bit frustrated that I hadn't handled it sooner, and I feel like I could have done, not had to suffer, but I didn't realize it at the time. So, I mean, considering I had built my, oxygen way of handling it to that point, and all of a sudden I had this extra oxygen, I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. So that was nice.
Who would you like to thank tonight?
Oh, I wrote it all down. I shouldn't want to forget anybody. I'll be quick. First of all, the Eagle Club members and the boosters. I know that it's kind of a commitment to keep up with the athletics, especially if you've not been here for a long time, and you contribute your time and your finances and contribute to voting for these things. So thank you for all the members there. And for Coach Needs, he was the one that reached out to me to inform me that I was going to be here. He was my track coach, and just there through a lot of those sporting events, always very encouraging. And I was glad to hear that he was still here and in a different position. And great to hear from him. So thanks to him for getting me here. I actually had a teammate that I haven't spoken to in a little while, but I found out through Coach Needs that she had put through several years in a row to try to get my name in here. Kara Hawkins, she was a teammate and always very involved with Carson-Newman, but I reached out to her today just to thank her. She did not have to do that at all. We haven't talked in a little while, so I appreciate that of her. It was very kind. Obviously, Coach Needs for putting up with our shenanigans and me weirding myself out at the beginning of races and keeping his calm through all that. It's a big deal. It's a lot to coordinate. It's a lot to push everyone through. Encourage people who might be feeling tired, burnt out. Coaching is no easy task, so thanks, Coach Lee, for all of that. The school president at the time, Randall O'Brien, I think he was the president. He retired back in 2019 or 2018, I think, but he took a special interest in the track and field program. I think by then, yes, there was a little bit more of attention in the running programs at that time, and it was kind of not surprising that, of course the presidents of the schools show support in all the athletics, but he made time to travel to meets. We were all just kind of surprised that, the president of the schools at our track meet, that, not a whole lot of people travel to come to these things, and he just was so encouraging, and that just meant a lot to the whole team. So I don't think he's here, but I want to make sure that's recognized. The teammates at the time, that's probably what I remember most. And like I said before, the runner group is an eclectic bunch, and so we had quite the mix of personalities, but we just talk about it with the best way possible. We all got along great. We had great memories, getting into trouble, but also succeeding and suffering through it together. It brings you together in a whole other kind of way. My high school coach, Fingerly, was very encouraging. He basically forced me to start running long distance, and at this point, I'm glad he did. My dad, who's here, like I said before, he's kind of my first coach, and he took me on runs as a kid and kind of made me realize how much of a gift it was to be able to run and start to enjoy it. And then gradually he started to add the painfulness of the speed work and stuff like that, but he did it with me, so it kind of benefited him too. So I appreciate that of him. My mom's not here tonight. My son had an ordeal last night. She had to stay back. She wanted to be here, but she was always ever supportive as well, and always here for events here at Carson-Newman and for meets and stuff like that, and just putting up with all the pressure and always calming me down when I felt stressed about it. My husband Joe is here tonight as well. He drove through quite the ordeal to get here, but I didn't know him during the running seasons here at Carson-Newman, but I continued to compete here and there, and he was always kind of had my back, and we would go on runs together. We share some good memories of just the athletic parts of our personalities, and I'm just glad he's here, and we're coming through. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary together, so I appreciate him being here. Everyone else at my table, so Heather, Brad, Jen, Seth, you guys have all been great friends, and then everyone has small children at this point, so it's quite the ordeal to travel and make the time to come up here, and it just means so much. And Jen was a teammate for track. She ran track here as well. Brad, he played baseball here not long ago. And Heather's just my lifelong best friend. She's quite the track athlete herself, and we middle school, high school, inseparable, but also push each other with our running careers. So that's been fun to watch each other and go through all that. And yeah, I think that's about got everybody covered.
Aubrey, what does it mean to you to join this group?
I'm so honored. I tend to downplay some things, and I guess the more it kind of came out, telling my close friends and family, and they were like, oh, that's a really big deal. And I was like, really? And I don't know. So now realizing, there's so many people here, I didn't expect it to be just a full room. I'm kind of realizing that it is very special, so I'm feeling very honored.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's officially welcome to the Hall of Fame, Aubrey Morrison. Next up, from the women's soccer program, a 2007 graduate, Julie Nelson. A three-time All-SAC selection, Nelson helped the Eagles to 4 NCAA tournaments, 4 SAC titles, and 2 Final Fours in her time at Carson-Newman. At the time of her nomination, she still ranks top 10 all-time in Carson-Newman history for career starts. She has gone on to an insanely successful professional career and is Northern Ireland's record holder for career national team appearances at 130 caps. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Julie Nelson. All right. Normally, we start this off, how on earth Northern Ireland to Carson-Newman? That's not that unusual or less unusual than people may expect. Phil McNamara, the coach at the time, obviously Northern Ireland, for those of you that don't know. And I think you started the trend of what has been a slew of now Northern Ireland national team members that came through the halls of this school. So thank you for the high-quality soccer start. What brought you? How did Phil McNamara sway you to come overseas to play college soccer?
Yeah, it took quite a bit of persuasion. At the time, I had started studying at home. I was actually in London, in England, and just wasn't enjoying it. And I was supposed to switch back to go to university at home near Belfast in Northern Ireland. But I was going to have to sit out for 1 year, so Phil actually talked me into coming for what was supposed to be 1 semester, and 1 semester turned into completing my college degree here for just over 3 years. So that tells you all you need to know about Carson-Newman.
What was it that made you stay? What swayed you?
Just, I loved it. At that time, there was very limited opportunities to play pro soccer anywhere really in the world, and to get to play soccer every day and to continue with my education, to come out with my degree at the end of it, and to be with, a great bunch of girls that I have some of my teammates here with me. So enjoyable, and obviously whenever you're successful, it definitely helps encourage you to stay.
From the moment you got on campus, Carson-Newman women's soccer was a powerhouse, a juggernaut. You won SAC titles every year, the 2 Final Fours. Was there a moment where you sensed, hey, this is going to be something special?
Yeah, I think through that first season, we grew as the season developed. We had a good blend of US domestic players and a good mixture of international players coming through the program. And I think we had a really good balance within the squad. And it was quite a small squad, and we were chatting with Simon Duffy, the current coach, and he couldn't believe how small our squad was compared to what he's able to have now. So yeah, I think just a really tight bond between the whole group, and that's what helped to carry us through. And we had some great goal scorers, Jenny Bach and Rebecca Angus, helped along the way to put the goals in for us as well. And first season, yeah, we won the SAC and the SAC tournament, and got it to the Final Four for the first time in the history of the school. So it was fantastic.
You bring up 2 names, Jenny Bach, who's in this Hall of Fame,
yeah.
Rebecca Angus, who has been elected but hasn't yet made it to a ceremony to be inducted. I'll bring up another one, Claire Ramsdale, who has gone in. You're the defender of the lot to make it 4 from that era. What does it mean for you to join them?
Yeah, it's really special, and I was chatting with a couple of the girls earlier, and defenders in soccer don't really get a whole lot of credit. If you look at all the statistics, it's always about goals and assists, and even if you look at goalkeepers, it's how many shutouts do they have. Defenders don't really have any stats. They don't really measure interceptions or tackles in soccer. So it's special to be the first defender that's entering the Hall of Fame, and just great to join such a great group of players that they went on to achieve great things in their college career, and it's an honor for me to do the same.
SAC tournament titles came against Catawba, both on penalties. What do you remember from those 2?
Yeah, I don't remember the first one as well as the second one. The second one was really special for us, and I just remember whenever we scored the winning penalty, we all just had a massive pile-on the pitch. Everyone just jumped on top of each other, and I think we probably were slight underdogs that year. So to come through and to win that was really good.
If I'm to say the day July 7th to you, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's July 7th, 2022 is the day I scored Northern Ireland's first goal in a major tournament at Euro 2022 in England.
Yeah, good point. Yes. I think contextually, obviously what you did here at Carson-Newman, it was an established program. Carson-Newman women's soccer has more SAC titles than any other program in the SAC. Northern Ireland, at the time that you were breaking in as a national team member, was ranked in the the 80s, give or take, for
Yep.
the world rankings. And here of late, it has been a top 50
Yep.
club. How meaningful is it for you to do that for your country?
Yeah, every time you get to pull the shirt on, it's an honor. And as you say, the team, we didn't have a team for 4 years, from 2000 through to 2004, and thankfully I was coming through the program at a good time whenever the senior team just reformed. And to start with, you were maybe only playing 3 or 4 games a year. So yeah, it was really special then to go on and be successful, and to qualify for our first major tournament. It's not something that probably any of those Cropper players that did that probably ever actually thought that we were going to do, because we were so far away from it, whenever we started and whenever we were coming through the journey. And to go and do that and to kind of be trailblazers in Northern Ireland, and to see the success that they're now having, as well as the young kids that are now coming through to play, is fantastic to see, sort of, that we help to inspire them to take up soccer, and it's not something they maybe would have done before that.
130 caps and counting. What do you owe the longevity to?
Yeah, one of the girls actually asked me that in the locker room today, and I think, just for me, it's always, I've always just wanted to be the best that I can be, and I've done everything kind of within my power to do that. In terms of the training regime that I follow, I'm quite strict with my nutrition. I'm quite disciplined, and I always kind of have been. And I think because I have an interest in it in terms of what I studied with exercise science, that kind of helped alongside, my athletic career. And yeah, I think that's why I'm still playing, and hoping to continue for a little while longer. But yeah, I think you just have to be disciplined, but be the best that you want to be.
You've got a British Empire medal. You also have the distinction of being, that era of women's soccer, the team DJ.
Yeah.
Are you the most interesting woman in the world, between collecting honors from the Queen and also the honors of being the DJ for Carson-Newman women's soccer?
You'll probably have to ask that group of girls over there. That's not for me to say, but yeah, it's a job a role that I took up on the team, I think maybe in my freshman year, and I must have done a good job, because I got to keep it for my whole college career. So we have fond memories of we had a little short bus back in those days, and we used to take trips, obviously to North Carolina and those types of places, sort of 4 and 5 hour journeys, and fond trips or sing songs on the bus with some songs. And I think most of us still probably have a CD of, shows how old we are, but have a CD of those songs, that we all played on the bus.
Who would you like to thank tonight?
I'll be doing well to match Aubrey's list, but obviously, as I mentioned, the people that I have here at my table tonight, from Brittany with her dad, one of our #1 fans whenever we played, Jessie, Shay and Zar. Like I got asked the question earlier and got emotional, but that they've obviously been part of the journey with me all through my college career. To thank David Needs for reaching out to me to help organise tonight. I think Phil McNamara had a bit of a hand in it as well, in terms of helping to get me nominated, but also for firstly bringing me to Carson-Newman, because I would never have been here if it wasn't for his persuasive words. The Eagle Club for inducting me tonight. As I say, it's a privilege to be the 3rd female soccer player to receive, the Hall of Fame, especially as a defender. And all the coaches that have been involved, all my teammates have been involved throughout my journey. If I started thanking every single one by name, we would still be here tomorrow. And last but not least, my parents.
What does it mean to you specifically to join this body?
Yeah, it's so special to be back here. We took a walk around campus today, and some things have modernized and some things have changed, but it still feels the same. And it's a special community spirit that's here at Carson-Newman, and I'm just really, really honored to join that group.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's officially welcome her, Julie Nelson. Next up, from the Carson-Newman football program, a 1992 graduate, Chuck Profit. Carson-Newman's all-time leader in interceptions. Chuck Prophet was a two-time All-American defensive back and a member of the 1989 National Championship winning team. Prophet also ranks 12th all-time in tackles and is 4th in career pass breakups. He was the South Atlantic Conference's Defensive Freshman of the Year in 1989 before earning first-team all-conference honors his final 3 years with the program. He does still have the longest interception return in both Carson-Newman and South Atlantic Conference history. Please welcome to the stage Chuck Prophet. Anybody that I've talked to trying to prepare for this interview has said, don't bother, he's gonna pick you off anyway. 25 career interceptions. I asked Stan Cotton, the play-by-play voice from your era, what made him so good, and he said, it's like he just knew the other team's playbooks. So, did you have any sneaky tactics to get into?
Our defensive coach, Deaton, would plan, and he would know all the plays from the other team. And so all I had to do was just execute the game plan. And so when they would come up and give us a formation, you know, I would already know what the play's going to be. And so I could cheat in, you know, and intercept it.
Here's Jim. Jim, I think you need to take a little bow there. He's in the Hall of Fame for a reason.
Yes, sir.
He's in the Hall of Fame
a
for
great
a reason.
coach and a great man.
You were SAC Freshman of the Year. I'm still in awe of the defensive backfields of that era because you were playing in a defensive backfield that featured David Poole, Joe Fishback. Those are guys that went on to play professionally. Did that make life easier or harder?
No, real easy. As a coach, well, I'm not coaching now, but I was a coach, and if you had a true freshman at safety, and then you had David Poole at corner, Sammy Dixon at the other corner, two seniors, and then you got Joe Fishback. The other team said, let's just pick on this true freshman. Let's you know, go at him. And so I got lucky or fortunate to have great players around me. All I had to do was just execute the game plan.
Jim Deaton described you as self-motivated, both as a player, but more importantly, as a human being and a person. Where did that come from? Where did that self-motivation?
From my mother. She was a hard worker. She did not want to be given anything from the government, so she would work and she would grind, and I saw that in her. And so I know that I wanted to do better, and so I just told myself that if I'm going to make something myself, then I'm going to have to do the work, and that's what I did.
You had a 100-yard pick six. That is the record for longest interception return as a freshman against Catawba in 1989. Does that stand out as a moment where you felt like, hey, this might be a real thing that I can do?
Yeah, but I got made fun of that interception because it was the slowest 100 yards ever. They said it took me forever. Linemen, defensive linemen, and everybody was catching up to me. That was the longest run of my career.
How did you, was it over the shoulder?
No, it was like right in front.
So you
It
had a
was an easy
running
catch.
start.
Oh, yeah, I had a running start, yeah.
And still got made fun of.
And yeah, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And almost got ran down by my own team. So.
Did you have to do a little extra conditioning after that?
No, but I probably should have.
Any of these teams from that era, you were part of some great battles with Central State, Emporia State for the title. Clash of Titans, matchups of giants. What do you hold from those games?
Very intense. Central State came in with a lot of speed, a lot of intensity. I think we almost got in a fight at the 50-yard line before the game even started. And so you knew it was going to be a battle. But we had some great players up front. I think we were just bigger than them. And then Emporia State, the championship game, I think we just won it the year before I was here. And so we knew that because those seniors, they knew what it took to get the championship. And so we just took care of business.
From Morristown West to Carson-Newman. Again, that is not an unfamiliar path. Break down your decision to come to Carson-Newman.
There was a few guys named Todd Henderson and Buster Goins and Tim Bobo, and they played with me at West, and they came to Carson-Newman, and then they won the championship. So it was really a no-brainer, and it was real easy for me to get back and forth from Jefferson County. I had some other schools looking at me, but I was like, how am I going to get to Memphis? How am I going to get to ECU? Like, I can't get it back and forth. But Carson-Newman is right here in my back door. We're winning championships. Those guys are here. So it was an easy decision. And then I met the coaches, Coach Deetons, Coach Sparks, Turner, and they all were super nice.
Give me your best tale of the coaches. We'll go with
What-
Jim Deaton. I need some good Jim Deaton dirt.
He was really, he's a comedic coach. Like, you wouldn't think he would be as funny, but he's really funny. I don't have any, like, jokes or stories that he would tell. I think one time my car broke down, and it took me like a week or so, and he's like, did you check the gas? I was like, no, not really. So I just ran out of gas. I thought my car was dead. Like, I just needed gas. So that was a long time joke. And then Coach Whitley trying to get some gloves and, you know, some kind of equipment. Like, he would never want to give you the equipment. He was hogging the equipment. Like, you had to beg him to get some shoes or some gloves or just anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the roast of Mike Whitley. We didn't know we were doing this tonight, but well, so this place has taught you speed, that you need to put gas in your car. How has Carson-Newman, aside from those two things, how has Carson-Newman made a difference in your life?
Oh, a huge difference. The people here, I didn't really know Christ before I got here, and there was a guy named Joe Emmert that really introduced me to Christ. And then I got here, and a guy named John Walker really led me down that path. And so it's been a huge difference in my life.
Was there a moment, we'll use the "how's your heart, babe" phrase, was there a moment where you really felt like it clicked for you?
Ken would always ask you when you go and talk to him, he's like, how's your heart? And for some reason, he would know if you're struggling. If you needed something, he'd find out what you needed, and it would take care of you. From that point on, just having those kind of coaches around you and supporting you was huge.
You touched on it earlier with the speed on your 100-yard interception return. You are second all-time in career interception return yards.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. Is there another pick that really stands out to you?
I can't remember the game exactly, but it was like an 83-yard pick where, once again, I was running as fast as I could, but other guys were just running right by me. And I saw like 3 defenders, and they like, cut back. I kept telling everybody here, cut back, cut back. So I cut back, and I made it in the end zone.
You did have 6 career pick sixes, which is tied for the still tied for the career record.
Oh, I thought it was 4.
Is that? I've got you down for 6.
Oh,
You
okay.
and
I'll
Schlechter
take the extra
both.
2. I'll take the extra 2.
Maybe I can't do math. Who knows? Who do you want to thank tonight?
I would like to thank the committee, the Eagle Club, for selecting me for this honor. I would like to thank my wife, and my daughter, and my son, Sanaya and Jace, and her parents, Cindy and Powell. I'd like to thank my teammates that came tonight, John, Steve, and Buster, my cousin that made it all the way from Raleigh, Tony. I'd like to thank Lamar and his wife, Tanya. They have been awesome to me when we coached together at Marshtown West. I'd like to thank my mom. I never really acknowledged her in any of my accomplishments. She's passed now, but I'd really like to thank her. And there's 2 men in my life when I was growing up and I was little, going to the boys' club. Bobby Davis, he's here tonight, and Bill Seals. Those 2 guys, I didn't have a father figure, but going to the boys' club and being there, those 2 men pretty much raised me. And if I was going to be a knucklehead and get in trouble, I would always think about those 2 men, thinking, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And it always made me stay straight and narrow. So Bobby was like, he's been a mentor to thousands of kids in Morristown, and he really means a whole lot to me. So, Bobby, if you'd stand up. I really appreciate that, man. He's done a lot for me.
What does it mean to Chuck Prophet to join this group?
Oh, this is a special group. This is a special place. When I'm back in Raleigh, I always throw my Carson-Newman stuff on. They're like, "Where's that at? I never heard of it." I was like, "It's in Tennessee. It's a special place." I'm truly blessed to be here. I never really planned to achieve this kind of success, but it's a great honor to really say that I'm part of the Carson-Newman family.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's officially welcome him, Chuck Prophet. Next up, assistant football coach Dan Redding. For nearly 30 years, Dan Redding roamed the sidelines as an assistant coach at Carson-Newman. During his tenure with the Eagles, Redding coached lines that helped Carson-Newman win 13 SAC championships and make 17 trips to the NCAA Division II or NAIA playoffs. Linemen mentored under Redding include former San Francisco 49ers and Buffalo Bills D tackle Cedric Killings, Tennessee Titans D lineman Torrey Griffin, and Dallas Cowboys and Miami Dolphins defensive end Junior Glimpf. Nose guard Steve Mellon was a two-time NCAA Division II All-American, and Glimpf was named to multiple All-American teams under Redding's tutelage. Please welcome him to the stage, Dan Redding. All right. So here's the deal. You got your wallet on you?
Yes.
Good. Because Mike Turner gave me $25 in this card, said, don't look at it, but I want you to read these questions. I want to know you got 50 on you, and I'll just tear this up.
Well, what you don't know, I'm under an NDA, so I can't disclose a lot of stuff.
That's fine.
Okay.
You're a Catawba graduate, and the coaching career took you from Randleman High School to Liberty to North Florida Christian School to Greenville College in Illinois. That was 4 places in 12 years before you came to Carson-Newman. And here you've been since 1990. What made you stay here?
They won. No, it's a great place, and you knew about Coach Sparks, you knew about the staff for many years before that, but had the opportunity to come and just really feel blessed to have that and got to do it.
I'm disappointed, I want you to know, because you're here in a suit instead of a gray sweatsuit or a blue pullover. Do those articles of clothing still exist since your retirement?
Yes, sir. I still wear the gray sweats. They're Walmart. You can get them after a season. You can get them cheap. And the gray sweat top finally just disintegrated after 20 years. So
I'm sorry to hear that, Dan. It was an iconic piece of clothing.
thank you.
That genuinely makes me sad. Did you have a welcome to this staff moment? So many, you're part of a long line of coaches that gave themselves to this place for a long time and joined a little bit later than the other Hall of Famers in this room that you joined. Did you have a moment where, okay, I belong here?
Oh, goodness, I don't know. I've never considered it. I'll tell you, the staff was great when we got here. And again, I'll tell you, the staff back then, and when I got here, I coached against Carson-Newman twice. And I always thought they had better athletes, and I thought they did things a little bit better than any school in the conference. And once you got here and you got to meet the staff, then I really understood why they won. And the names keep coming back. I know Coach Sparks was the head coach, but the 4 guys, Mike Turner, Mike Whitley, Jim Deaton, and Bill Mitchell, who are here tonight, that they were a different staff. They weren't self-promoters. You didn't see any professional jockeying for positions in the hierarchy. That whatever needed to be done, they did it. and this predates me, but a lot of people may not know it, but they helped to repair or replace the flooring in a Holt field house. They dug the footer for a sidewalk that's still there, I think 3 days before fall camp one time. And they painted the entire interior and sealed it at the KSAC for about 4 or 5 weeks one spring. Those guys are the guys that made the program successful.
You coached 11 All-Americans, 49 All-SAC players on the defensive line in your tenure. That's, do the math, it's more than one a year. How could you spot somebody that was going to be successful?
You don't really know the final outcome. And I used to tell the recruits, and I tell kids that came through, there was something different about them. That they were just a notch better. They took everything seriously. You know, I'd catch Glimp and Griffin. They'd carry a jug of water around with them to class all day long. They would work out like crazy. They were just dedicated to a position that I never worried about them doing anything that's not right, because they weren't going to sacrifice what the investment that they had made. But there was something different that we don't have all night. I could tell you stories about each one of them as they came through when they made that decision to step out and be something different.
When the KSAC came into existence, it needed a weight room. And the guy that helped design it is sitting across from me. Strength training, the original programs that this place was built on were of your design. Where did that passion come from?
Well, when I came through and I was a player in high school, we didn't have weights. We had nothing. And I remember no one talked about it. You had to go out and find out the best thing that you could do. And I got interested in it because you want to make a young man as good as you can make him, and that goes into all aspects of the athletic deal. So it was always a hobby. I've done that wherever I've ever coached. I was involved in strength and the training and that time. And so you drew up plans. You go visit. You go to as many pro teams as you could, or as many major colleges, and ask them about why did you put the water cooler there? Why don't you put it over here? Or why didn't you turn that bench around or that squat rack around? But anyway, it's always been a hobby.
I want to take you back to 1990, some of your first moments with this coaching staff. Ken Sparks, for those of you who don't know, an avid runner. And I've heard that you've joined him on a jog or two. Can you break down what it's like to go running with Ken Sparks?
Oh, goodness. Well, I came from a little school in Illinois, and we had gone to the Falcons summer camp. And we were staying in, and Coach got up and wanted to go run. And I had been running that summer. And so, but, I'm not going to let him, no way he's going to beat me, right? So we take off at a great pace, and I stay with him for a little while. And, he eventually wins. But the bad part about it, I pulled my Achilles on the return back. So I limped around for the next 3 months and took all the resin from all the staff.
I hope you'll allow me a moment here, because this one is a little bit special to me. For those of you that you would have no idea about this, but for 9 years, my first 9 years here, and Dan's final 9, there's a special distinction that I got to share. The radio booth at Berktar Stadium has a glass wall on the left side of it. And I typically stand on that left side of the booth. And on the other side of it, Dan's spot in the coach's box was on the far right side. And I mean this. I don't remember when we started this. It wasn't my first year, maybe my second or third year here. Dan and I, before every game, we shared a prayerful moment with one another, to the point where toward the end of your tenure, we would seek each other out on the road and share that moment. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart as a 26, 27-year-old punk kid that's not from Carson-Newman, that came from Marshall. It made me feel like I belonged here. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
For,
Thank you. Appreciate
for
it.
those moments.
Thank you.
Who would you like to thank tonight?
Oh, goodness. I'd like to first thank my wife of 53 years. As I've gotten older in coaching, you know, there's a lot of wives who marry coaches, but there's not very many coaches' wives. And she had a ministry wherever we've been. Not only that with the players, but also in just being there. She understood the sacrifice. She understood the time it takes, and never once complained when you weren't there. I'd like to thank my 3 children. Dan is here tonight, and his wife, Melanie. David and his girlfriend, Macy, are here. And Becky, my youngest daughter, is here. You can't let it go until you tell about the grandkids. So it's our oldest grandson is Coleman, skiing. He's here with his fiancee, Kaylee. And we have, I'll get there, Aubrey. And she's here with her boyfriend, Will. And then Kylie is here as our youngest. 3 of the 5 are here. 2 of them are at home.
Dan Redding, Carson-Newman Hall of Famer. What's that mean to you?
It's humbling. I don't have the right to be here by any stretch. As I said before, the people that made the program go and that made it successful are a lot of the ones that I mentioned. And there's others that have coached here, and they're in this room, and they know who they are. But it's just a humbling thing, and very thankful for the opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's officially welcome him, Dan Redding. Last but not least, from the football program, a 1984 graduate, Dwight Wilson. Carson-Newman football's first All-America offensive lineman, Dwight Wilson, was recognized for his efforts up front during Carson-Newman's 1983 national championship run. Dwight would help clear the way for the Eagles to rush more than 3,000 yards in the final years of his college career, and he would block for 4 All-Conference and 2 All-America running backs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep the applause going for Dwight Wilson. All right, Dwight. First offensive lineman in Carson-Newman football history to earn All-America honors. Your story, I think, is one of the all-time greats. Crazy to go from Tennessee to Carson-Newman. How did it happen?
I don't know. But I finished my sophomore year at Tennessee, started at right guard, and week before I went home for the summer, my father passed. So, needless to say, interesting summer, had never faced a death or anyone close to me. And the love of the game left me. I decided I really didn't want to play anymore. And that's where it sort of started. Went to camp and just did not feel it. And I spent that semester working at Wendy's restaurant. I was going to be a restaurant manager, you know. I figured if it was a managed position, I had to make good money. Needless to say, after many hours working late, staying up all night, going to work early in the morning, washing greasy clothes every day, I decided maybe I should look elsewhere. And lo and behold, one evening, and it was probably 8, 9 o'clock at night, 4 or 5 guys came in the restaurant, and one of them was a little chubby red-headed guy. And is you Dwight Wilson? I said, yes, sir. What can I do for you? He said, I want you to come to Carson and play football. And I said, okay. And that's how it originally started. So Coach Turner recruited me for Wendy's restaurant.
Red man does love red hair.
Yes, yes.
Mike Turner said that you could crawl under one of these tables, come out the other side, and put a linebacker on his hind end, time after time after time again. What was the hallmark of your playing style within the Veer?
Well, those were the good days. And of course, you know, in the game of football, you learn that the lowest man usually won. So I loved catching linebackers from the blind side when they weren't looking, and nose guards when they were entangled with the center. And I just loved inflicting pain on people when I hit them. I loved hitting.
Oh, there's the quote for the release tonight. I love inflicting pain. Dwight Wilson. That one writes itself. Was there a moment, a hit that you remember that stands out to you from your time?
I guess when Reverend Jerry Falwell flew in on the soccer field, landed his plane, and we were playing Liberty University that day, and I had a guy in front of me, and initially the first thing you want to do is win the battle. Mm-hmm. And this guy, I don't know if he was frightened of me or what, but I would take the guy, knock him off the ball, and dive on him, and that's where I got my my nickname from that Coach Turner used to call me. And but Liberty University was probably one of the biggest games that I can remember. And of course, one of my favorite games that we didn't win, but we played Furman University, and we got introduced to a guy named Stanford Jennings, who was their running back. And we didn't score a lot of points, but they scored points all day. And every time they scored, you would see the horse running around the field. So by the time the third quarter rolled around, we saw the horse on the sideline with the saddle off, and they was icing him down with water. So we didn't win the game, but we beat the horse.
Can you tell me what an 880 run is?
Oh, buddy, beautiful, beautiful. The first one, I was coming home, and Coach Barks that's when I broke my huddle, and I had chimed it down. I didn't see the finish line. I thought I passed it, so I started walking a little bit, and I said, Coach Turner, I thought I finished here. But the finish line was still probably 100 yards away, so. The second 880, I crossed the finish line in time. I started off, and this time I missed the track. So I walked down the hill to the practice field and got juiced up, splashed some water, and I came back up the hill, and everybody else was finishing up, so I got in line and I made it across the finish line. Thanks, my man, Red Turner.
You alluded to it. You started at Tennessee.
Yes.
How were your relationships with the Vols different from the relationships that you built at Carson-Newman?
Well, you know, first I must say, attending the University of Tennessee was one of the greatest honors of my life. And you know, I think sometimes how things look good, things shine, but you see the outside, but you can't really see what's inside. And once I got here on campus, it just fit right. And you know, I think about the O.J. Simpson trial where the attorney said if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. But I quit Tennessee and I came to Carson-Newman, and it was the right fit for me.
How much did guys like that were on those lines with you, Rick Oler, Brad Spivey, Chuck King, Scott McClanahan,
Yes.
Jimmy Covington, how did they make you better and create a good situation for you here?
Just a bunch of fantastic guys. I mean, very close. We joked a lot. We played a lot. And I can remember every time we started fall camp, every morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, fog on the ground, and we're sitting down stretching, and David Kitwell will break out, if I can make it through December, everything's going to be all right, I know. And I had to listen to that every morning, every day we lined up. That was the offensive lineman motto, make it through December.
Multiple people, as I've prepped for this this interview, have described you as an inspiration to them. What does that mean to you?
It's really touching. Even accepting this award tonight is so accepting to me, and you know, it just shows great love and honor. I see so many of my teammates here, my family from South Georgia, family from Wichita, Kansas, family from Memphis, and they just all wanted to be here for me. After my wife told them about my coming into the Hall of Fame tonight, and all of my teammates and friends that tell me how inspiring I am. But even with the situation that I'm faced with, what I'm going through, and what I'm dealing with, you know, I thank God every day when I wake up, because when I look around, my situation could be so much worse than what it is. You know, there's a lot of people that would love to be able to walk with a walker. There are a lot of people that would love to be able to stand. When I look at some people that can't even get out of a bed every day, some people that can't feed themselves, I yet have so much to be thankful for. And I just thank our Lord and Savior every day for where he's brought me from, for what he's done for me, And I thank him for this fine university got me started. Many years ago, when I didn't even know where I was going, they gave me a second chance.
Who would you like to thank tonight?
There's so many people I could thank. First of all, I'd like to thank this fine university. And I owe so much thanks to my darling wife. She helps me every day. She makes things comfortable for me. She makes things easy for me. She takes me where I need to go. And she just makes my life so much easier. And I thank all of my former teammates. I thank my two sons and their companions for being here. I thank my coaching staff. Most of them are here tonight. Coach Turner, Coach Whitley, Coach Mitchell, Coach Deaton. I just thank the whole Carson-Newman family for even giving me this award tonight. And I really thank my teammates so much for being here, and so many have reached out and told me they wanted to be here for me. I want to thank my pastor, his wife and daughter for being here tonight, who is definitely my inspiration, spiritual advisor. And I want to thank all of my friends and just my family from all over for being here. And I really just thank this entire room, and this is just wonderful.
What does it mean to Dwight Wilson to be a Carson-Newman Athletics Hall of Famer?
Wow. You know, when I was initially found out, didn't hit me major, but the last few days I've really been thinking about it and mulling it over and thinking about how loved I am when so many people tell me how much I inspire them for not quitting, not giving up. And my sisters, my brothers, my family, everyone seems to be encouraged by me because my personality has not changed at all. I'm the same likable, friendly guy that's been around now for 63 years, and I thank God for that, and I thank God for my wife who reminded me on the way up here that how many times she had driven from Knoxville to Jefferson City just to sit in the lobby with me because we didn't have quite the visitation that the University of Tennessee had. And I said, thank you, honey.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome him officially, Dwight Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give one more big round of applause for Dwight Wilson. At this time, I would like to invite up our Eagle Club director, David Needs, for a benediction before we close out the night. David?
All right. Let us pray. Oh, hold on one second. Let me first, before we do pray, thank you all for being in attendance tonight and making this such a special evening. We really do appreciate you being here, and we look forward to our continued relationship with the Eagle Club and the athletic committee and everybody in attendance. Let us pray. Dear Lord, you've called us here at this time and at this place for your purpose. Lord, we know that you have a special plan for all of us. You have a plan for us to prosper, a plan for us to grow, Lord, and we thank you that at a place like Carson-Newman, we can do that. Lord, you gift us with special talents. You gift us with the endurance that you've given to somebody like Aubrey Morrison. You give us the consistency that you've given to Julie Nelson. You give us the quiet strength of a Chuck Prophet, the passion of a Dan Redding, and the inspiration that is Dwight Wilson. Lord, we thank you that you gift us with so many special things, and we thank you that a place like Carson-Newman can bring the very best out of all of us. Lord, we thank you, and we ask that we leave this place being your hands and feet. In Jesus' name, amen.
Our final order of business today. Class ain't dismissed yet. What are we doing here? We've got one more thing to do, and that is announcing the 2026 Hall of Fame class. This class will feature 6 members, and they are our first ever inductee from the Carson-Newman volleyball program, Jenna Rust, wrestling national champion Jeff Beddard, the Carson-Newman softball program's all-time leader in wins and strikeouts, Megan Elliott, a football player who is 3rd all-time in tackles and the 1990 SAC Defensive Player of the Year, Leroy Mincy, the only 3-time All-American offensive lineman in the football program's history, Reggie Perkins, and finally, and I can't give him enough credit because he did not ask me once about the results of this voting, and I apologize wholeheartedly because the athletics committee conducted a vote in secret without him knowing, and that is the coach of 4 national champions and 63 All-Americans, former head track coach David Needs. We will see you this time next year for our 24th induction ceremony. On your table, there is a cup with an eagle head on it. Those are yours to take. We do ask that you please only take one. In addition, each table, the bouquet of flowers that is the centerpiece, the flowers, yours to take. We do ask that you please leave the vases. But the flowers are yours, each table. You can fight over them. They're yours to take. We thank you so much for attending, and we hope to see you next year this time. I would ask the inductees to please make your way to the front for a group picture. Inductees, please make your way to the front, and we'll organize for a group picture.